It's kind of odd to look around now in almost every single age to see something built there now. But even with plenty of buildings, inside some of them is a little lackluster, if I'm honest. I mean, even with the Stone Age, this is still kind of empty. We got like 2/3 of the buildings here furnished, apart from like a couple here and there. And I don't even want to begin talking about the lack of furnishing in the futuristic age. So how about let's not talk about it, and let's actually fill them up with some furnishing. And I think we'll go back in time and start with the Stone Age, which, if I'm honest, like, out of all of them, this might be the easiest one to do. Like, on the stony surface, it might seem a little bit complicated, but when you actually think about it, it's actually, honestly, not too hard. Because once again, I'm going to take totally no inspiration from a 1960s cartoon, and fill in the entire insides of these buildings with actual furniture and stuff. Alright, now what do we think about this? What do we think about what I did right here? And, okay, personally, I think it's pretty awesome. The one big drawback I've had was pretty much this entire place I've had to use stone just to stick with the theme. And if I'm honest, apart from like a few certain things, there's really not many decorative things you could do with stone. At least when it comes to like furnishing a house, which meant kind of had to get as creative as I could to make it feel, I guess, a little bit more cave-like and things like that. Also, my favorite bit is the fact that we have this chair just looking out watching the outside, because obviously there's no TV in the Stone Age. But I think as long as we do something similar to the rest of these one rooms, we should end up with something that looks pretty cool in the end. And I mean, come on, how hard could it be to furnish this place? Well, as it turns out, very, very, very hard. At least for me, because again, the Stone Age, you don't really have many things or blocks you can work with, so you really have to think outside the box for a lot of things you're doing around here. And while I think for the most part I did the best I could, I still think there's probably room I could do here and there around the place that could even improve it further. But I still think we can at least somewhat say that most of the Stone Age is furnished. Like a solid 90 to 95%, which is close enough to 100% at least. In terms of the medieval age, I think we've already furnished it completely, which means moving on to my good old friend, the steampunk age. And while there is at least rooms in the Stone Age and the steampunk age, there's probably, okay, bad example, not this one. And at least some of these buildings, there's pretty much nothing inside. And wait, remember those robots? I think they've started rusting away. And how have I never noticed this? Like, ugh. I feel so bad for them. Business mission success, but yeah, but at what cost though? You know what, sooner rather than later, we will find a way to fix up those robots, because they deserve it. But for now, let's focus on this furnishing stuff. Bar, stool, tables and chairs, open kitchen, and with this building, we've ended up with this beautiful looking restaurant slash bar. This, obviously, of course, is the bar part, but then heading just upstairs, we have ourselves the restaurant part with a whole bunch of seats and this beautiful open kitchen. And can I be proud of this? I think I could be proud of this. Personally speaking, this might be my favorite interior furnishing design I might have done across the entire base. Which is a little bit worrying, because we have a whole bunch more buildings we have to furnish, but still, I could be proud of this. I could be really proud of this. Let's just hope I could be as equally as proud as whatever I do in these other buildings. And with that, that's pretty much the entire steampunk age pretty much furnished out, and most of the rooms, they look fine. Not too bad, not too great if I'm honest, but they are furnished in some way or another. I think out of all the buildings, this one was the hardest because of how small it was, but I think in the end, it worked out just about. But all the other ones, they do look fairly good in some way or another. But I guess now it's time to move back over to modern. And I'll be honest, the only reason I didn't finish furnishing modern is because I kind of ran out of ideas as to what I could do to furnish them. Like, we have hotels, apartments, a shopping center area, an office block. What other types of main skyscraper buildings could there actually be? And we have a restaurant, we have some other stores. Wait, how did I miss furnishing the first floor of this office block? Well, I guess that's something we could change right now. Okay, now that we have this entire like main floor furnished out, that still leaves the other buildings. Like, what do we do to the other buildings now? Okay, we got a big one, we got a pretty thin one, we got like a medium-sized one. I don't know, the cogs from my steampunk brain are turning as hard as they can, but nothing's coming to mind. Oh, actually, I don't know what to furnish these buildings with, but I do know something which might fit pretty well for the modern district. And it's actually located at Duba's base. Duba's very big and complicated base. Now, I remember seeing it last time I was here, but I don't remember where I saw it. Oh, here it is, the vending machine. I think something like this might actually fit really, really well for my modern district. Yeah, I think personally, this actually fits in pretty well, but still, that begs the question. what do we do with these 3 buildings? That's not been furnished yet. My mind is still drawing a blank, and my mind is kind of drawing a blank with the futuristic age too. I think the only course of action I could take right now is to at least put the rest of the furnishing off for now, and then come back to it later. But if you happen to have any ideas as to what I should furnish these last 3 buildings as well as the futuristic age, and please leave it down below in the comments, because I'm pretty much at a loss right now. But I guess until we actually finish furnishing, we could once again come back over here and try finishing off this bit of terrain we were working on the other day. Wait, how is the dirt still not spread across the entire thing? Like, that's kind of impressive. Is it just me, or does it feel like every single time I'm at a loss, I just always come back here to do some training? Because I don't know, but personally I am noticing a pattern here. But again, at least training for me nowadays is actually pretty fun. Not really too much to think about, only really placing it down and making sure it looks good. And after placing several more bits of stone, the art part of this entire thing is pretty much completed, apart from like all the little details and things like that. The only thing now is pretty much this one side to just close it all off, which in concept shouldn't be too hard, but in execution with the absolute scale of this entire opening might be a little bit harder. Who knows? Well, of course I know, and what I do know is it's actually not too hard. We're making some pretty decent progress. Needless to say, but anyone new to terraforming might find this a little bit harder, but again, for me, I'm liking this. I'm having fun. I am, of course, enjoying what I am doing. Actually, that's a given. I mean, if I didn't enjoy doing this, then why would I be doing it? I think I'm rambling on, aren't I? So let's maybe just focus in. I wish I could say this entire thing was easy, but what I can say is it was mostly easy for the most part, and yeah, just look at this. Can you feel like how, I don't know the words. I don't know the words to describe this entire, like, tunnel, like, not alleyway, like, the entire arc. I don't know how to describe it. I just love it. Ooh, and the waterfall just leading down there. I think the only thing that would make this better is if the waterfall actually had, like, a bigger splash at the bottom. Right now we have just that tiny little pond down there. But everything else, I really like this. I really genuinely love this. And while I could spend another 3 hours or so gushing about how I love that terrain, I unfortunately can't, because there's something way more important I need to attend to. So if you remember, a couple episodes ago, I went up to Saber's base and he showed me like a block, and I started hearing voices, which led me to come down here and actually build up a little laboratory down here. And I've done just a couple other things, such as hooking up a few other things, such as the power source and the thing we're actually going to try harnessing, kind of similar to what I did seasons and seasons ago. And I figured before I even have a chance of helping other universes, I need to perfect this type of technology, as well as that try and figure out what's actually happening with other universes and multiverses. So what I've actually done is pop back over to Ch2 S and created a copy of the Time Traveler's book I got all that time ago. And what it states about the multiverse in particular is on this one page saying, branch universes may be caused from your interference in that universe, which gets me curious. Could there have been branched universes I made when I went traveling across universes in time? I'm not exactly sure, but before I could do anything to correct my wrongdoings, I need to try and, again, perfect this thing. So I'm hoping an end crystal will actually be the power source required to actually getting this thing powered. And what we're going to try and do is try harnessing an ender pearl, the powers of an ender pearl. So here we go. Fingers crossed. Let's see if this thing actually works. And, okay, nothing yet. We got the lights going on. Anything? Nothing yet. No major activity. This is a bit worrying now. I've been standing here for like a minute or two and still nothing's happened. Like, so maybe the end crystal might not be the correct power source we need for this. And I was kind of expecting this, but I was hoping I didn't have to resort to this, but I think there's only really one other source of power I think could work to power this one thing. If there's anything that can guarantee powering this entire machine, it's gotta be the clock. So, alright, fingers crossed again. Let's put this in, and we should hopefully be able to harness the power of an ender pearl. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that entails, but according to Saber, that should be what this machine does. So, here we go. Fingers crossed. Let's pull this down and let's see. Oh, it actually worked. It actually managed to work. And, oh, there goes the Enderman. This worked. It harnessed the power of an Enderman by spawning in an Enderman. I don't know how much sense that makes, but okay. But that is proof enough that the clock is actually the thing that's required to power this entire thing. That's awesome. That's a huge revelation, and I am so excited to actually help so many people across several universes. That's of course after we find the correct power source and weaponry required to actually help other universes. But until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.
Chris? You here, man? I wanted to talk to you. I heard you've been going around nabbing some stuff, and a few of my vending machines went missing. What's this? I do not like the looks of this. This reminds me of what happened last time. Ooh, I'm just gonna take this.